Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to finish off the frame rails. I'm going to show you what I've gotten done. I'm going to look at building wheel tubs using a tailgate, maybe do some more fitting on the engine, and we're going to figure out if I can build a forward tilting hood. So hopefully we can get all that done in today's video. So if you want to see that and more, make sure you stay tuned.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
Hello BSC family, and welcome back to my bench. So in today's video, I'm going to show you what I've done here in the frames, like building the frames. I still got a lot of work to do to clean them all up, smooth them out, fill in a few gaps, this and that. But I do have, take that out. So now that's a whole lot stiffer. Before that was just flopping around. Now it's not. I do have the box portion glued in, right? I was tired of holding it and trying to fiddle with it and everything else, so that's all glued in. I got a little bit of cleanup to do on the sides here, maybe shave down the edge of the box, because as you can see it's kind of sticking out past a little bit here, past the trim. So I want to clean that one up all the way around, make sure that's flush in there. Now let's see, that's going to be good. But what I'm looking at is I wanted to be different, and I want to do kind of like, I started off by wanting like some sort of, am I doing that the right way? No, I gotta go this way. I need wheel tubs, but I wanted to do something different and go kind of like that, right? So that it gave this sweeping look. It's hard to hold. But you see how it's got that little sweeping look to it, but still being a wheel tub? I could block it in, right? And it'd be different from what everybody else does, and kind of gives some of these swooping lines that are on the car, you know, just do whatever. And then I kind of thought, hey, they gave me two different tailgates. One was a custom one with these long swooping tail lights, right? And the other one was the stock style tail lights. Obviously I used this one and customized it, but I'm thinking, what if I were to somehow fill this in, or fit this in, right, kind of like so. If I can get it to sit there for you. So it would be something similar to this. Here, let me switch to the other camera for you. And yeah, so if I put this in here, right, now of course I'd have to fill some of it in. I got to cut some of it down so it sits all at the right height, because I'd want the top of this fin here to be pretty much either flush here or just below, so because there is a chrome strip on here, but there is supposed to be a chrome strip on here. But I'm thinking if I go flush or just under, you know, so it looks like this is pronounced like it is on the side, right? And then kind of do the same thing that I was thinking here, but go from the center V and pick a point here somewhere and go to there. Now put a rib in just to make it easier, but then take this from the floor to here and curve it all the way down. So basically I have this here, which is the same as this here, and that would save me from having to build a fuel cell, because I was thinking of building a fuel cell right there in between these things. But now I could just use this as the fuel filler door, right? And yeah, obviously I have to cut a bunch of this out so it clears the wheels, but all I need is a little portion in the center here, glue it down, glue it at the back, and then fill in the top section, because you're not going to see under here, right? You're not going to see that. because this would be right across there, all the way down. So it would kind of give me that same swoop, both things, right? So that's what I'm thinking. Now, it'll probably be a little bit before I get to that, because I gotta, you know, clean all this up, like I said. And the other thing is, I'm looking at doing a forward tilting hood. Okay. Now, with this one here, it's got these big chrome vents in the hood. Well, they're kind of in the front of the car, but it goes hood shape to it, right? So I can't just lift up straight, because it would start binding into those vents, right? So what I'm looking at is having it slide forward a little bit. And I still got nubs on the other end, but slide forward a bit and then tilt up, right? So that it clears these vents, right? So it would slide forward and then tilt up. Now, at the same time, I don't know how strong that would be, because this is the only spot right here that I can put a hinge. Right? I can't really put it anywhere where the vents are. And if I have to slide forward, obviously it would really throw it out, and then it would have to tilt up. Now, I think I've got that hinge completely figured out, so I'm going to try it, you know, and that's the whole point of doing models. You build them your way, the way you want to, right? So if you like this type of stuff, hit that subscribe button for me. And I want to thank all my subscribers, my new ones and my old ones. And if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you hit that bell button, and make sure that you turn it on to all notifications so you don't miss out on anything. Definitely share the video, hit that thumbs up for me. And if you want to help out the channel in any way, I do have a PayPal me link down in the description. And I do have a Teespring store. You can check out the merch that I have there. And some of the best ways that you can help your favorite YouTubers to watch the entire video. Sometimes you get bored of it, but hey, just let it play in the background and do something else while you're waiting for the video to end. But that's the biggest help you can do to your favorite YouTuber. So I'm going to start figuring out some more of this stuff, get some more of this cleaned up. And when I come back, I'll probably have at least all of this cleaned up, maybe even smoothed out, and we'll figure out what to do next from there. I am going to have to cut a bit of a hump because of the intake. Alright, so I didn't really want to. Now I've got a couple options. I've got this blower piece here. It's supposed to be like that. Comes from the 67 Chevelle kit, but I don't want that. I find this one a little too square for the car. Now, I could do something to smooth it out, but I have to cut a hump to be able to clear this, and that would be roughly the right size. Alright, but I could also use this one, which would give me even more room actually, and it's got more of a swoop to it. It's got the point to it, so it's almost like a reverse of the trunk lid, right? It's almost like a reversed piece, right? And I don't need it to be open to the outside because, well, it's a boosted car, so that could sit under there with no problem. Give me clearance, no problem. That would give me more than enough, and I kind of like that swoop. I can blend that in. But the next thing is once I get that figured out, is where am I putting the turbos? Once I put the turbos, I don't know, depending on where I figure out where I want the turbos, they may have to stick through the hood. I don't know. Hoping not. I'm hoping that I could probably take them and shove them down here somewhere, you know, below the hood line, and maybe punch a hole or something, because this is supposed to have 4 round lights, maybe only have 2, and have a turbo opening on both inner signal or headlights. Depending on the grill I use, I could put them in the grill, but I gotta leave room for the rad, which is there. So there's lots of figuring out. I could try to put them back here, but then I start getting into the hood where it's too high. I don't want to cut out the inner fenders, and there's definitely not a whole lot of room once this is in here with the valve covers and stuff. Right, as you can see. So that'll be sitting there, and then once you put the belts and everything on, I mean, not a whole lot of room in there. Now in the real car it wouldn't be that hard, because I'd probably just cut out over here and put them inside the fenders and have the air cleaner down underneath, right? And you wouldn't really see the turbos, but that would get them way out of the way, and that would help a lot. I mean, you could even take them and put them up underneath the fenders and basically doing the same thing. Alright, so yeah, and again, if it was a steel car, well, chop cut rebuild would be a lot easier, because then you could just cut out this section, weld in some new sheet metal a little further in, and make some space. But plastic is a little harder to do, and especially at this scale. So like I said, I'm going to stop rambling here. I'm going to get some more work done, and I will come back and I'll show you what I've got figured out. So I'll see you in a few. As you can see, this bench is a complete disaster. Now, I've been doing quite a bit here, and I'm going to show you what I've gotten done and what some of my further plans are, and explain how I've probably gotten to this point. So as you can see here, I got the framework all done. Well, not done, I'm still finishing it up and cleaning it up, but it is all built, and it is quite rigid, back to the way it's supposed to be, right? Probably stronger than some of the rest of the stuff. So I've got that built. I've got it somewhat puttied up and filled in. I got to do some work here, obviously, as you can see. I got still a hole here and a hole here where the old frame used to be. So I got to fill those in. I'll probably just cut this off here and then just make a piece to fill it in. Clean these edges up here a bit, make it all nice and flat and square, and then I can just run it across or whatever, right? So not a big deal there. The axle does fit in there nicely. Now on the front, I've glued the center portion in. I'm going to clean it up, but I glued the center portion in, but the control arms themselves are not glued in. Alright, and that's so that I can take these pieces in and out. Now I've had to modify them just a little bit, because the wheels, since these wheels don't belong to this kit, there's this piece here that has a notch on it. Alright, as you can see, that will sit there. Now this piece here, I'm not sure what it is, it's probably for one of the wheels, but it happens to fit over top of that center piece, so it fits nice in there once it's glued in. Alright, it'll look like kind of a brake rotor in the back end behind the wheel anyways, and then this will fit over top of that. And it looks low, but the wheels do just barely sit lower than the upper control arm, right? Just barely. Right, they don't rub. And then with the rake of the car, the way the car is going to sit, it'll actually sit up a bit, so it gives it a little bit more clearance. But anyways, yeah, so once I've got all that situated exactly where I want it, then I can glue all this stuff down. Right now it's just sitting there. Alright, so working on that, and I have to work on that to be able to set the full ride height all the way across. But I need all of that situated so that I can actually figure out where the oil pan and engine's going to sit. You know, everything's going to sit in here at a certain spot, and to be able to do that, I need it to sit on the body, or I need the body to sit on it, so that I can figure out the clearances for my headers and stuff like that. Now I still haven't determined if I'm actually going to put turbos on and use where is it, the intake here, which I've coated with primer. I got to sand it down, smooth it out, but I'm not fully sure if I'm going to use this or if I'm just going to go big block. with some carburetors or something on it. If I can find maybe a Vortex supercharger or something, and or maybe a Paxton supercharger, I don't know. We'll see. Miguel did just release his big block Ford, and I think it does have a low slung supercharger that sits flat on here, so maybe I'll take a look at that. Hopefully his Ford block will be designed similarly to the Chevy big block, and it'll actually fit in here. I'll have to ask him about it. But yeah, and something else is I'm not going to have room for all of this. It's just not, it's going to hit the frame and everything else, as you can see here. You know, it's not going to work, right? Now, I could try to modify it a little bit, but I do have the water pump on there, and it's got to sit a certain way. But if I could modify it to maybe sit it more like this on an angle instead of straight across the way it should be, I might do that. But what I might do is carefully separate the water pump from the belts and pulleys, separate the power steering pump, maybe leave the power steering pump and the crank on, but angle it down a different direction, right? Because it should sit like that. So maybe if I cut it free and I can angle it down just a little bit more, and then the alternator with its bracket, I don't know, maybe I can do the same thing, because as you see, it's just not going to fit in there, right? Now if I was able to put the alternator down here, it would be good, right? So maybe what I'll do is I'll cut off all the big belts, take the alternator, tilt it down so it's below the frame as well, you know, so it's down here, right? And then same thing with the power steering pump, down below, right? And then put the water pump on, turn it into an electric water pump, run some wires off of it, and then yeah, the crank pulley, I can leave one crank pulley, and then maybe use a aluminum pulley and put another pulley on the alternator as well, and then run a separate belt for that. And if I keep that together, I wouldn't need a belt for there. So we'll see. But anyways, yeah, that's what that's going, you know, that's something I've been figuring out. As far as the turbos, like I said, there's not a whole lot of room, and I don't want to go modifying too much. So I don't know if I'm going to put turbos in this car or not, and I don't know if I would in real life yet. I think I'd be more inclined to either high horsepower naturally aspirated, or maybe some sort of belt driven blower or something that I could just sit off to the side nice and easy. Oops. You know, let's try and get this in here. You know, if I had a belt driven blower where I could just set it off to the side, you know, and go that way, or one that's like a roots style blower, you know. But I'm trying to keep everything under the hood, you know, as like a sleeper style, right? So now for the wheel tubs, as you can see, they are filled in. I got to trim them back a little more to match the holes up on here a little bit, and I got to trim this one back just a little bit here. If it focus, right? So I got to trim here, I got to trim here, and up along here, right? But since this kit came with 2 tailgates, a stock factory style tailgate, and then this custom one that has different tail light pieces that go in, and it had this really ugly, stupid, bulged out license plate holder, and so I shaved that off. Obviously you've seen that. But I took the second tailgate and I put it in the back. I trimmed it all down, filled in the 2 sides because obviously it was too short, and then the wheel tubs themselves, I followed the contour of the fin, right? And then I put a piece of thin rod along here, just underneath this little piece I extended on, and then curved it and went down on both sides equally, right? So the side piece, as you can see, has a nice little curve to it, and then sloops down almost like the wing would, right? So this here curve, come on camera, this here curve kind of matches the wing curve, right? And then you have this curve, which obviously matches this curve because it's the stock tailgate, meets in the center. So these here will be pretty much flat straight across, as you can see. I got to do a little more cleanup in here, and it's a lot more filling and priming. I have left it down just enough so that I can replicate the chrome all the way around. So that's what the wheel tubs are looking like. Now I was going to put a fuel cell in here, but I think what I'm going to do is just use this emblem that's on the tailgate. Right, you see this emblem right here? I'll use that, and that'll be the gas filler. So you won't see anything under there. Same thing with the battery and stuff. It can all be hidden under there. And we'll go from there. As far as the emblem, still haven't decided on that. I've been concentrating more on this and the suspension. So I've got the axle cut, like I said, and that'll fit in here just fine. And it sets the wheels down nice and low. Alright. And the wheels themselves will sit right in there. Alright. And I think that'll look pretty freaking good, I think. It's got a nice little stance. Alright. The front wheels be kind of the same thing. They'll sit up nicely tucked. Alright. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Other than that, I haven't touched the interior yet. I haven't bothered with the windows yet. But I'm going to start looking into what I can do with the engine so I can get some of that figured out, because I need to either 3D print a transmission or either cut one of these apart, cut the tranny off, but I kind of want that same bell housing that was on the other engine that I showed you. I believe it was on Instagram. Could be on my Facebook group. So give them both a follow. Make sure you hit subscribe, and you guys can help out sometimes with some of the decisions. But yeah, the links for them are down in the description. Hit that bell notification, obviously, so you don't miss out on anything. And like and share the videos, please. So yeah, I could glue these halves of transmissions. I could go with the automatic or the manual. I'm thinking maybe the manual, but it all depends on how far this will sit in the engine bay, right, and where the transmission will sit, things like that. So I got to figure all that out. As far as the interior is going to be fairly easy. Still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the seat here. I was thinking maybe I can soak it all down with glue, let it soften up, and then just use a stiff bristle brush, right, kind of thing. And once it gets sticky and tacky, just start giving it a new texture, you know, and go from there. I may have to do the back of the seat here in this section, right? Come on, camera. There we go. Do this back section as well to match the front seat portion. And I think that might be the easiest way to try and eliminate these stupid pin marks that they've got here. The carpeting won't matter because I'm going to put my velvet carpeting on there, and you won't see any of that, so that's good. Probably put some of that velvet carpet up here. If there was an indent in the seat, I could do the velvet carpeting on here, but without that indent up front, it would stick up too high and it would look funny on the seat here. So I think glue texturing would be the easiest way. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'll get some more done. I'll come back and I'll show you where I'm at. I'll see you in a few. Okay, everybody, so let me show you where I'm at, and we'll close out this video. But as you can see, the car has been primered. And I've got all of this nicely done up. I think that looks pretty good. Now I still got to do a little bit of stuff down here. I'm not quite sure. A little more smoothing back there. And yeah, it's got that nice little swoop to it, both sides. All right, still got a little touch up, but it's been primered so I can see where the imperfections are. All right. It's all kind of somewhat blended down into the bottom there. All right. You can hardly see the ribs down there. Okay. And so yeah, I want to clean up, like there's some little gaps right here I want to fix up. Things like that. But the car itself is primered. The back is primered in here. Got a couple little sinks in here that I got to fix up. You can see there's a couple lines here. So I want to finish fixing that up. Tailgate is pretty good. Engine is kind of in. And what I did is I ended up sacrificing one of the engines that comes with the kit. All right. So I cut the transmission off of it. And that is what I've got for engine and transmission. Now, none of things glued in. You know, it's still making sure everything fits nice. But as you can see, the bottom is primered. And again, that's just so I can see things. I did cut out these little plastic pieces. And I'm going to fix that up once I do up, like, fill in these whole areas here. Basically make a bit of a wheel tub in here just to clean this side up. And yeah, once I do that, then I can fill in this little piece here, both sides, and that'll be pretty much good. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So far, I'm still thinking that I'm not going to bother with the turbos, just because a lot of it's going to be so hard to deal with in different areas. I'm still kind of looking to see, or maybe scratch build a Pro Charger or something for it. And as far as the hood, I haven't gotten into that yet because just busy doing everything else. But I'm trying to decide my windows, right? Now it does come with a clear one, and it does come with a red one. Now, what I would actually like is the red back window. And I would like to have the red side window right here, all right, and then the clear windshield, all right. That's what I'm thinking. So it'd almost be like half and half kind of thing, all right. Half red, half clear, right. So I'm going to think about carefully cutting that apart. I'll probably start with the red one. Because if I crack that and something goes wrong, well, then I've still got the clear ones that I could put in. Now, I also thought of maybe masking off what I want clear and using the Tamiya clear red. That might work as well if I sprayed the inside, right? Let me know what you guys think. Would it be easier to cut the windows out, try to put them in? Because, I mean, I got to try and match this curve shape here, all right? Got to match this curve shape when I cut this out. Right? Because part of this window actually comes down. The clear part would come down here and the red part would be up here. Right? So back wouldn't be a problem. You cut that off, no big deal. But doing this red side vent window could be tricky. So if I just masked it off, painted it clear red, it might be a lot easier. So again, I'm going to leave you with this. And while I'm gone, I'm going to continue doing more work. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video, because I think there's going to be some pretty good transformations happening at that point. Almost ready for paint. And you're going to get a lot of work done. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that bell notification. And make sure that all notifications are turned on so you don't miss out on anything. Give me a follow on my Instagram and my Facebook group. Links for them are down in the description. Please hit that like button. Hit that share button. You know, that helps out a lot, all right? Make sure you watch the entire video. That definitely helps. That brings, you know, the algorithms way up. The more you watch, the more you like, the more you share, the more YouTube puts these videos out in front of other people. And if you want to help out, I have 3 different ways you can help out. And links for them are all down in the description. I got the PayPal me, I've got my merch, and you can hit that join button. Get a little perks at the same time. So with all that being said, no matter what you're building, as long as you want to make it your own and build it your way, because it's only on your shelf that your model is going to sit. So until next time, later.